In this video I'm talking about how competitive should you be when doing your MMA training. Now, since I've opened up my own little martial arts gym, I've been trying to preach this to the people who come down here, because I truly believe that you can have one of the best trainers in the world, but if you don't have good training partners around you, there's only so far you're going to be able to get. Sometimes I think training partners are just as important, if not more important, than your coach. So training partners help you level up. Now, how competitive should you be with your training partners? Now, of course, the more competitive you are with your training partners, hopefully, the more you're going to level up. But if you start to get on a level where you're better than your training partners, sometimes I believe or I feel that you'll stay at that level, but so will your training partner. Say like with grappling, for example, if you're grappling and you're always submitting them, like more or less straight away and not giving them a chance or anything like that, they're not always going to learn. Don't get me wrong, eventually they're going to pick it up, hopefully. But if you start putting yourself in bad situations and swallowing your ego a little bit and giving them a bit of a chance, don't feel like your training's going to be damaged from that. If anything, your training should get better from that, especially if you are going to put yourself in bad situations. Because just because you're winning in the gym doesn't necessarily mean you're going to always win when you're fighting. You may be the best in your gym, but when you come to competing, don't mean you're going to be best on that day when you're fighting. So a lot of people already know this, but when you want to get better, sometimes it's good to be putting yourself in bad situations. So it's really good to be humble quick. Now, this is, again, like I said, maybe a tip more for beginners, but it is good to be humble quickly and not go too rough with your training partners or anything like that. The other reason why as well, not everyone wants to fight. So you think if you're being too rough with your training partners, they might not end up either not wanting to train with you, or worse, not wanting to come back to your gym. Now, your coach ain't going to be happy with that, and you're going to run out of people to train with. So just try not to think in your head as a beginner that because you're wanting to go rough and hard with your sparring, with your training, whether it be drilling, don't feel like you're not going to progress because of that. Because the more you can progress the people up to a certain level and they start catching up with you, then you can go up, and then that's how your gym gets better and you get better people in through the door, and then everyone works as a team, iron sharpens iron. So the point is basically it is good to be competitive, but you don't want to be too competitive and put your training partners off. Don't have too much of an old school method of thinking like, oh well, they're either sink or swim, they've got to learn, they'll catch up, because it don't always work like that. Some people it will, some people it won't, but there's no harm in swallowing your pride a little bit. Like I said, put yourself in bad positions if you're doing your jiu-jitsu. If you're doing your striking, on the other hand, try things you're not always necessarily good at. So try swapping stances, try fighting a different sort of fight style. If you're more of a counter striker, maybe become more of a pressure fighter. If you're more of a pressure fighter, become more of a counter striker. There's always things you can do to help you both level up, which in the long run will benefit you more. In the short term, just going in there and completely destroying people will benefit you. But try and do that for when you're competing, yeah? Like, wait till you're competing to go really rough and hard and really go for it, and then obviously try and take your game to the next level. Now, having said all this, there are times, and I'm sure your coaches will let you know this, where, right, we're down here, let's get it on, I want you to be on point, and you are going to be really competitive and really push the boat with your partners. But you don't always need to do it. So I hope this tip sort of helps people. I hope people understand it. Maybe if you've got someone in your gym who's going too hard, maybe you could show them this video or something. But it took me a while to learn this, and like I said, since I've opened up my own gym, I've been trying to get people to understand this as well. Because if you run out of training partners, that's no good, yeah? You need your training partners to help you. Your coaches can't always train with you. Your coach might end up being too old to train with you. So you need your training partners, you need your sparring partners. So be competitive, but treat them with respect. Don't be over competitive, and try and put yourself in bad situations if you feel like you are a miles leagues above them. Hope you enjoyed this little tip video. I hope it helps out. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Check out this playlist over here for other MMA beginner tips.